My next one on my list is number 7, and that's eating well and nutrition.
For the latest in health-related information and ways to save your life, check out the newsletter.
If you've been watching this channel, you know that you want to decrease the amount of food that comes from processed items, and you want to eat closer to the way it grows. If you've not heard me speak before, that is one of my main tenets. Eat food closer to the way it grows. So ask yourself, does a Twinkie grow that way? No. So that's highly processed. No Twinkie trees exist that we've been able to find. So you want to eat food closer to the way it grows. It usually will have a better impact on your blood sugar and your metabolism. We found how interesting that there seems to be a direct relationship between fast food and depression. Isn't that amazing? The more fast food consumed in this study, the greater the chance that the subjects were suffering from depression. It appears that fast foods contribute to inflammation, and inflammation contributes to depression. So if somebody's having problems in that area, they might want to look twice at their diet and see just how much fast food they're eating, because that seems to be, that one category seems to have effect on brain health as well.
2 things about what you just mentioned about eating. One of them is the addictive power of sugar, and some studies have shown how the sugar can stimulate the same parts of the brain that cocaine does. So there's a rush of dopamine after you get sugar that can become addictive, and you can just look for sugar and to have that rush of dopamine and feeling well for a moment, with all of the consequences that goes with that. And the other part is the metabolism. I'm just going to go back for a few minutes to talk about the insulin model and the insulin resistant problem in the brain. We have insulin resistant have the main problem for diabetes, inflammation, and risk of heart attack in the body, and that is the same thing on the brain. In the brain, you have a barrier that it's in charge to don't permit that other things that are not supposed to be on the brain be there, but insulin can go through it because you need insulin to use the glucose on the brain as well. So there is evidence that show that there's also insulin resistance in the brain, and that is one of the major ways or physiopathological ways or ways on the disease of the brain Alzheimer's develops. That's why it's called type 3 diabetes, because we have been looking for another stuff, other causes, and insulin and glucose metabolism in the brain has been there all the time. And that's why some of these mind games probably don't work, because if you don't manage insulin resistance, that problem is still on your brain, and that will lead to Alzheimer's or type 3 diabetes. And you can see there in the image, you have natural products, synthetic compounds, has treatment, some supplements, or maybe some medications that can help with that. We said this last week, there's no supplement that can outrun a bad diet or a bad lifestyle.
I would also add that I was raised in a home where the meal was not done until you had dessert. That was part of the meal, every meal. And I have eaten sugar most of my life until a couple of years ago, and I found I could not dabble with it a little now and then. I have to just make a clean break, and it's easier for me not to eat sugar at all. It takes a lot less effort for me if I just have a policy that I don't do sugar anymore. You know, a little piece of pie isn't going to hurt. Oh, a couple of bites of ice cream isn't going to be bad. Yes, but those couple bites then give you permission to take a couple more bites. And before you know it, you've got the dopamine running again. And boy, sugar makes you feel good, and it sure tastes good. But I've been able to get off of it, and there's nothing special about what I did. One thing I do recommend, though, is you make it easy on yourself by not having it in the house. It is much harder for you to go to the store at 10 o'clock at night in your pajamas to get some ice cream than it is to walk to your refrigerator and get a couple of bites of ice cream because you've got it in the house. So make it easier on yourself. That's one of the ways I've been able to get sugar out of my life completely, and it's benefited me, and I think it'd benefit your brain as well.